We're the indie project Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats Ginjey Bear and Fernando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
Good morning guys, welcome back to another video, not from sunny Central Portugal, but from a rather grey UK, but the weather doesn't matter because we are currently locked in a house because we've come from an amber list country, so the government requires us to quarantine in a house, but it's no bad thing because the last couple of days I've been resting and sleeping lots and I'm actually feeling really energized. Poor old Fernando's been hanging out and spending a lot of time up here on top of this cupboard because it's been a lot for him, you know, the big change. He's in a house, there's lots of different noises that he's not used to, and we actually got him this calming collar which really seems to be doing a good job. You can hear the car sound go past then and he kind of freaks out a little bit, but he's definitely improved the last couple of days. And guys, look how cool this is. There's a tap here and it actually says hot on it, and you turn it, hot water comes out. That's incredible. We don't have these kind of things back in Portugal on our land. And as you guys can tell, it's not just Fernando that's taken a little while to adjust back to living in a house, but I've been doing some plotting. I've been writing down lots of things and planning ahead for the future, and actually we haven't got much more to do before we can actually move in to our home that we've been building in the barn. So that's all very exciting and I can't wait actually to get back. I'm already missing Portugal, but we're here for a very valid reason and we're gonna spend the best quality time with our family and friends and do some really cool things while we're here and make the most of it. I've just spotted Ginjey Bear hanging out in the garden. I don't know if you can see her, but she's just there blending in to all the flowers. But this is a lovely little garden that we're going to be spending a lot of time in over the next couple of days if it doesn't rain. Good morning, Ginjey Bear. How you doing? Are you enjoying the new garden? This is the first time we've actually let her out since being back, but she's having a good sniff around and I think she's enjoying the cooler weather, aren't you? We're really not sure about letting Fernando out on his own, unsupervised in the garden, because the problem is there's some really busy roads right by this house, and the thing is, Fernando has never experienced a normal road, let alone a really busy main road where there's buses and lorries and busy traffic, and we think that could end badly if we just let him out on his own. But maybe in a couple of days we can bring him out supervised in the garden. He can have a little run around, stretch his legs, but he seems to be enjoying the house anyway. He doesn't seem too bothered to be coming outside, so that's a good thing, and he's definitely settled in a lot better the last few days. But we just hope by the end of it he can go out on his own freely, but we all know what Fernando's like. He's a proper adventurous, inquisitive cat. I think Ginjey's found her spot down here on the decking. She's having a great time. So hopefully in the future Fernando can join her. I've been making sure that I come outside once a day, kicking the ball around, doing some kick-ups, and just making sure I get some fresh air, because you can spend your time inside just cooped up. It's so easy when you live in a house and there's not a whole lot of room outside to just keep yourself inside, but from living in Portugal, I know that spending time outside is so good and healthy for the mind. The fresh air, the sun. The sun will come. I'm sure we'll get some really nice sunny days, but at the moment, it's still grey. So as you guys know, I've got quite a lot of time on my hands right now because I'm currently locked down in a house for the next week, and I really like to use my time productively. So what I've been doing is using the Rosetta Stone app to really perfect my Portuguese, and Rosetta Stone has really helped me with the confidence of actually speaking Portuguese in a public place, and that's really important to me because I spend a lot of time in building yards in Portugal where I have to speak Portuguese because they don't speak any English. One thing I love about Rosetta Stone and the Rosetta Stone app is the fact that it picks up on your pronunciation. Pronunciation is sometimes the thing that I struggle on most, so being able to talk into the app and it tell you if you pronounce the word correctly is really important. And at the moment, Rosetta Stone has an amazing deal on that you don't want to miss. Usually for a lifetime subscription, it's £349, but with the link in my description, you can get it for just £179. So if you take up that offer, please let me know in the comments how you're getting on with Rosetta Stone and what language that you're gonna learn. And I know I've been going on about the weather a lot, but it's actually so nice to have cooler weather here in the UK, because when you're in Portugal, especially Central Portugal, you're spending the whole day just figuring out how you're going to stay cool. So it's really nice to have some time to actually do stuff and not worry about is it going to be too hot in the middle of the day and whatnot. But I'm so lucky to have this little garden to come out in quarantine and spend some quality time just hanging out in the fresh air. My parents have done such a good job with their garden. Look at these beautiful window boxes here and these hanging baskets. They make a real difference. And then if you look out into the garden, all of this grass here, this actually used to be AstroTurf and they replaced it recently with real grass, and it's made a massive difference. It's really nice to hang out on. And then over here you can see they got this pergola with some more hanging flowers, hanging baskets, and they got a table and chairs to hang out in under the shade of the pergola on a nice sunny day, and it's all decked out, which is really cool. And then here is where they store their firewood. So in the winter they use a lot of firewood for their wood burner. You got more flowers. This almost looks like a boat here, like the end of a boat or the front of a boat. It's really cool. I just love all the colours and everything. Over here is something that I'd really like to do on our property and around the barn, is growing up different plants and flowers up these trellises. And one thing I really like is all this classic English brick walls. But my favourite part about this whole garden is this area here. So you can see some of my dad's paintings hanging up, and this is a really nice chilling area to hang out and get yourself a little bit of shade on a nice sunny day. There's also this nice bench to sit out on under this big green tree in the front garden, and they've done the front garden out really nicely as well, and it's really cool to see what they've achieved in such a small amount of space. I mean, their house and their garden could literally fit into the footprint of our land probably over 200 times. It's absolutely crazy, but it just proves that you don't need a huge amount of space to grow your own food and to have your own flowers and to create a really nice green area even in the middle of the city. I'm so excited. Look what's just arrived in the post. This right here is my get out of quarantine early test. So it's currently day 5 of me and Bee being trapped in the house, and I'm not gonna lie, we're both ready to leave. And like I just showed you, we've just received our tests in the post, and there's a few requirements that we need to meet to get these tests back. They need to be back within 2 hours, and it's about a 35-minute drive to the actual area where we need to drop the tests off. So you're actually allowed to go in your car to drop these tests off, which is really useful because we don't have anyone else to drop the tests off for them, and if you post them it's going to take a long time. Although we did just read on the back of the tests, it's saying because of high demand it could take up to 2 days to get the results, and I really hope that isn't the case because we paid extra for this. So inside the testing box there's a few different things you need to look out for, and the first thing is the instructions. We've tried a couple different brands now and they all have different ways of taking a test, so it's really important to read this thoroughly so you get it right. You don't want a dud sample, otherwise you have to pay again. And then you have the bag that you return it in. You have your swab. So this swab here is a lot shorter than the other test that we had to do, and this one only needs to go up the nose. The other one we did was nose and throat. Then you have test tube, and then we have the biohazard bag here which the sample is contained in. So the actual government requirements at the moment are that you take a test on day 2 and day 8 of your quarantine. Day 1 of quarantine doesn't start until the day after you arrive in the United Kingdom. We paid extra for a test on day 5 because we thought it was really important to get out of the quarantine as early as possible so Bee can go and see a doctor and a mental health team. So I've just gone through the instructions once again, and it says to wash my hands thoroughly, which I've done, blow my nose, which I've done. Now I've got the test tube that I need to take this lid off and put that safely down there. And then I've got the swab which I need to open up, if I can get into it. I think my hands are way too big for things like this. There we go. Take the swab out, and then all I'm going to do is each nostril go right around all the way for about 15 seconds on each nostril, a bit higher. Woo, tickly. Okay, and I'm going to do the next one. Ooh, no wonder they say blow your nose so you get all them bogies out. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the way around the nostril. I'll be really happy when these tests are no longer in our lifetime. Okay, I think that's enough. Right, now I'm going to pop this into the tube, close it up, and test done. So much better than the other test. I'm actually devastated that I've got the other test now, because I've got the other test that we did on day 2 I have to do on day 8, and I'm terrified to do it because you have to do the tonsils and it is not a nice experience. But this one, it was a dream, and now I need to go and drop it off. So Now we have about a 35-minute drive to Nottingham, or I think it's called East Midlands Airport, and that is where we can drop the sample off. And I'll make sure I film it and show you the process, because some of you guys might have to do this in the future. I've just arrived at the Radisson Blu at East Midlands Airport. I've got our testing kits ready to drop off, and now I just need to find the location, but it's actually so nice to be out of the house. I didn't think it would feel this good, but I can't wait to get these results back so I can get on with my life. So apparently somewhere around here I should be able to drop off the testing kits. Okay, so I've just found the company that the test is for. There's this little room, and then down here it says to leave the test in this box so it can be couriered to the lab. I've just arrived back at my parents' house. I'm really happy that the test has been submitted. So as I said, in the next 24 hours, I should get my result. It's definitely going to be negative, and then I'm going to be a free man. And for all you cat lovers, hanging out over here on her own, on the bench, on this beautiful pillow, in the rain, is Rosa. And she used to live in my parents' house when I was living there, so she's very old, she's very beautiful, and she actually gets on really well with Ginjey. Fernando's another story, but hopefully they become mates over the time they're staying together. It's a super windy day today, and I've just come out to the front garden because there's something I want to show you guys. So for all of our original subscribers and everyone who's stuck around from the very beginning will know that this camper van here is a VW T4, and this was mine and Bee's first ever camper, and it took us all over Europe, and now it actually belongs to my parents, and I'm gonna go on an adventure in it tomorrow. It's really cool that we managed to keep this camper van in the family, because this is what started it off for me and Bee. Me and Bee went traveling. We started a YouTube channel about 7 years ago now, and this was like the catalyst to the indie projects. Before we were called the indie projects, we were actually called VW Van Life, because this is a VW van, and that's the name we came up with. And we traveled to so many different countries, I think 23 different countries in Europe in this vehicle. So it holds a lot of sentimental value to me and Bee, and I cannot wait to go and explore Scotland in this van once again. This van's been to Scotland with us many times before, and me and my dad are going to jump in this van tomorrow and head to the Orkney Islands. But let me show you around, because it's had some upgrades since we owned it. So you can see these stickers on the outside going up the windscreen. These are stickers that we had to get to drive on different motorways in Europe, in different countries. Give this guy a wave. And he didn't wave back. Wow, that was embarrassing. This van is actually really spacious. It may not look it, but it's the longer, rarer, long wheelbase T4 version. And down here you can see we've got a box of camping goodies, so pots and pans. And check this kettle out. This kettle folds completely flat, so saves a lot of space. And it is spacious in this van, especially for two people. We lived in this van for years and it was completely fine. You can see here that the seat in the front swivels round, so one person can sit there and one person can sit over here, and there's storage all the way under these seats. The storage over here, this is a 12-volt compressor fridge, so we've got a fridge and a little freezer. This seat turns into a full-size double bed, and it has even more storage underneath it and above it. And talking about storage, there's just everywhere. If I open this up, you will see in here, this is also storage, but you can see the solar charge controller in there, and that's one of the upgrades that they made. They added solar to this van. And it may seem crazy, but when we were living in a van and traveling around Europe all the way up to the Arctic Circle, it was very rare for us to see another van.
We've woken up and the van's fully frozen for the first time ever. We've lost the thermometer though, but we can guess that it's quite cold, judging by the windows. I think it's time to leave.
Also, they've added diesel heating to the van as well. Diesel heating is not something we had, and we actually did -8 inside the van, and we had to go to sleep with our water bottles. So in the morning we had water to drink, so they didn't actually freeze, and that was all the way up in the Arctic Circle in Norway. And also we had -8 in Slovenia, so we've had some pretty exciting times in this van, I can tell you. Also, very rare to see a van with solar on it. So now technology's changed and every single van has solar on it. The price has come right down and it's much more affordable. But back when we were traveling, there's no way we could afford to put solar on this van. You guys are probably thinking, where'd you go to the toilet? Down here, if you open this, we got a little porta potty in there, so if we need to go to the toilet, we can slide that out and do what we got to do. And up here are our cooking facilities. So you can see we got a sink, and then we've got a cooker as well here, so we can cook all our food in the van. So you can see the solar on top of the roof here, and they've also added these roof bars and roof racks at the back. So if you want to add in more stuff to travel for longer, you can. And last but not least, on the back, they've added this ladder, and I think that's really cool. Helps you get onto the roof and get to the top box or storage. And this is probably the most integral part of our trip. This is a midge head net. and we're definitely going to need this because it is summertime and the midges can be really bad. So as you can tell, this van is super cool and it's got everything we need for this adventure, and I'm very excited because tomorrow me and my dad jump in the van and we head up to the Orkney Islands, and it's somewhere that I've never been before. Me and Bee have done many of the different Scottish islands in various different vans, the Sprinter and this T4 actually, but I've never been to the Orkney Islands, and my parents go there quite a lot and it's one of their favourite places in the whole United Kingdom. So I'm very excited to see what it's like, and I'm also very excited to bring you guys along with us. An Amazon package just arrived, which is just in time for our big adventure to Scotland tomorrow. I was so stressed when I left Portugal that I actually didn't bring anything but the clothes that I was wearing on my body at the time, which is not good. Luckily in the van I had my down jacket and my rain mac as well. I'm definitely going to need them in Scotland, and I'm happy that I brought them, but I didn't have anything else, so literally what I'm wearing in this shop is what I arrived in. So I've gone online and I've ordered myself some Solomon trail runners. I love these things, they're so lightweight, perfect for hiking, climbing and walking, perfect for Scotland. And then in this box here I just got myself some cheap hiking trousers, so these are going to be good. I don't know what they're going to be like, hopefully they fit, but I'm going to try them on in a second. And also I forgot to bring any GoPro batteries with me as well, so I've got a couple, but I got some more so I can film the adventure and bring you guys along with us. I've come out to the rugged garden grass to try out my new trousers and shoes, and they're actually really comfortable. Happy with them. They definitely do for the trip up to Scotland. So I think I'm going to leave this video there, but I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been quite interesting trying to film a video locked in a house for a week. It's a very different environment for me, but I've tried to document it the best I can for anyone else who's going to quarantine in the UK and what tests you need to take. And our midweek tests have just come back negative, so we can both leave the house now. Bee's gone back to Birmingham this morning when our test came back negative. She's got a massive support network of friends and family in Birmingham, and she's going to be seeking help there, which I'm really happy about. I'm super excited to see her when I get back from Scotland, and it's going to be an epic trip up to Scotland, so make sure you stay tuned for the next video where we're going to be heading up to the Orkney Islands.